It's awkward that I almost put that April Fool as a serious moment. It was almost written into my review. It can't be any more awkward than this scenario. Confusion, disbelief, and fear are perhaps only the few that make the moving process difficult. Though, can you truly blame them? As the process continues to halt, it dives in more into the surface of its characters and challenges to accept the fate they never imagined to cross. It's amazing to think that we're supposed to get Akira and Almond having a discussion, only it largely focuses on Kaneki and Almond, and I don't mind that. The transition makes a lot of sense, understanding the position that Almond and Akira have to take, yet find it troubling to do anything progress. Of course, Kaneki has his own problems with her, but the main drive is to have both of them to recuperate and move on. I admire that Ishida is taking his time while showing the characters more depth. Akira and Alma's conversation has that awkward mood that you can tell right away that this isn't going to go that well. However, there is a sign of change as long as one breaks that wall. These angle shots are suggestive to their emotions. Whether it's confused or lost is a step that has to be made in order to progress. Both of them don't know how to feel or react at this time. It doesn't give me a reason to get frustrated. It shouldn't be that easy to convert or let what built your life disappears in a second. Things should take time. It doesn't help that they have to do it on a whim rather than let it adjust it for a bit. They're technically in a war, so they have no time to adjust and deal with it later. Do it while it's still calm. What pretty much stole the show is the conversation between Kaneki and Almond. The chapter surprisingly shifts to completely about those two and their presumably first talk as non-enemies. It's a good tie-in, however, since Almond is in a learning process, so I like how the dynamics shift around between them. Almond is the learner and Kaneki is his teacher. Toka helped him to muster his courage to talk to Akira, but it's time for Kaneki to tell him how to feel about the similar position they're in. You can say Almond lost confidence to reach others after he was abducted by Kano. He believes on what he says, but feels disconnected with his old friends. It's appropriate for this to happen before converting Akira, if they can, that is. Perhaps it's just me, but it feels like they're not exactly comfortable to be close yet. The draw distance between them could be a subtle way to say so. Either way, it's the first time and it's charming, yet sorrow. It has a nice small recap of the old series, reflecting the memory on how ironic it now becomes for both of them. Sometimes I often think it's been over 300 chapters ago, but it's not. I said this because it has that nice nostalgia feeling that often attach people, me included, easily. That line about the ghouls is seen as monster is pretty striking. It pretty much said that not everyone will change, and more likely it will forever remain that way. That simple line has a lot of weight to the core of the series. It's because of the world building and developments that made that line strong. Even Kaneki response is effective as it doesn't only come across as never give up vibe, but also life goes on the way they chose to be. The significant moment that addresses Kaneki's character is when Alma finally asks why he's on the ghoul side. This is actually contributed from when Takizawa asked him in the last chapter whether his goal is legit or not. It turns out it's not his true motivation. It's just so happened that his friends are mostly ghouls. That's all. He only cares for people for that can relate to him or actually care for him. Recapping the story, that's all very true, especially with human. You can argue that he has a horrible life as a human, but I think what's telling is when he recites that his friends are ghouls, yet one family seems to be coming close. That subtle thought of Q Squad is a sign that I want them to reunite and become family again. Imagine if he did start off in the life of Sasaki rather than Kaneki that we know. The path would have been significantly different. That said, I seriously hope they get together again. I'm glad Ishida didn't wash them away or dismiss them entirely. Rather, a reassuring process of potential reunion. Perhaps the most significant moment is the question of how to feel when one thought to be dead will return. The answer is depressing. Kaneki didn't make it out to be a wishful thinking, rather a frightening one. Kaneki has gone through so much hell that he didn't even think of a positive, rather something you shouldn't take life for granted. It does leave a strong note for Alma to move forward. I do agree that it does feel like a preparation for a potential reunion with Hide. When that time comes, it should be intriguing to see how the reaction plays out. Yes, I do think he's out there as Scarecrow, but I'm more concerned on his well-being since he appears that he can't talk well. Well, time will tell. The scene with Olga and their hunt for ghouls is pretty grim. The idea is to have them eliminate ghouls as they gain more experience. What's grim is the presentation. They found the mother and child, leaving the mother no choice but to fight. Olga laughs at their demise like it's a child play. Yes, I know what I said. They cold-heartedly kill the family in a brutal fashion, and you wonder why Kaneki switched side. What shouldn't be surprising, yet it was in the end, is Furuta has Rize in his possession. I guess he could finally make 101 babies. Good for him. It shouldn't be surprising, however, because Arima did the job dealing with Sachi, which only led to Rize. If only he left her under red care. Back to the tube she goes. That explains what V was referring to about parting gifts. But damn it, I know she is strong as hell. But much like Kaneki was, she's being taken advantage for her ability. What's worse is that Furuta practically stole the idea of Kanu, only since they're good at making cues, they can produce at a better rate. The chapter mostly focuses on the conversation scene, so not a lot of movements going on. That doesn't mean the visual isn't solid, because it is. It's more on the head movement to express emotions. The words are straightforward, but carry a lot of weight to them. Olga's scene was cruel to watch. Shame that they're just kids, yet I have ill wish for their end. Welcome to Seinen. It ends with more drama on the way, with Toka actually coming down to talk to Akira. Then Akira stabs her with her Quinke out of nowhere, but Toka goes Kagaja all of a sudden, and the brawl can be compared to Jason's versus Kaneki. It's insane. My jaw dropped. I cannot wait for the next chapter. Okay, cheap April Fool aside, it's a good cliffhanger that maybe my joke will end up in reality. I hope not, but you never know. Anyway, Toka is here to save the day. I hope. It's a swell chapter, with drama continues to try its way to solve dilemma, but also explore more depth of his characters. While that is progressing, so as Furuta and the newly established CCG with Ghoul's extermination. The next arc isn't established as of yet, but when we do get one, it's highly likely that it's going to be intense. I'm giving this chapter an 8. You know, I feel like Ishida is playing around with the shipping fans because it's like a slow burn, and then when we get to the moment that they finally are comfortable to talk to each other, then we started to get in those shipping moments, especially with Kaneki and Toka are supposed to talk to each other. Not sure when, but maybe after they finally deal with Akira. So it feels like a huge tease coming from Ishida. But hey, look at it this way. When the moment comes, you will be thankful, heavily thankful for that. What are your thoughts of this chapter? How do you think Toka's gonna break the news that she's the one that killed her father? That's going to be very awkward, and if she could fight, they'd probably end up fighting, but I don't think that's going to happen. I hope I don't jinx in that one. I'm looking forward to this conversation between the two, and of course Almon and Akira are going to talk, just not sure when. They probably talk maybe after Toka's done immediately, or they probably going to hold on a little longer, but I like the slow burn, and I like the character developments and progressive with these mixture of dynamics, so I'm looking forward to see what Toka could present, especially since it's Toka, just a great character. And that will do it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.